What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about how in the 2014 movie called Noah, starring Russell Crowe and other actors like Anthony Hopkins, how this movie, it was a really well-made movie. Actually, if you're a Christian, I actually recommend you go see it, but I want to warn you that there are seeds of deception in the movie planted to mislead, I guess, non-Christians and even maybe lukewarm Christians, because the movie, it does talk about it just show like a lot of what happened in the past, but they actually show the Watchers, the fallen angels, and they actually make them as heroes, as good guys, as people who actually helped Noah. In the real story, when God, he made everything 6,000 years ago, he created Adam and Eve during creation, and Adam and Eve were already mature. They were pre-programmed by God, so they already knew information. They already had knowledge. Adam, he named all the animals as God created them, so he could speak. He had knowledge already. Adam and Eve probably knew all the properties of plants. They probably knew how to architecture, sacred geometry. They probably knew mathematics. They probably knew astronomy, and they knew far more than we know today. And after they had children and spread out, all these different families that spread out, they were all intelligent, and they could easily have created civilizations from scratch because they were incredibly knowledgeable. And when God made everything, he made Adam and Eve, and then they had kids and they spread out, and then the whole world was being civilized. The fallen angels were looking from heaven, and they started lusting for the women. They essentially came down from heaven to mate with human women and to be worshipped by man like a god. And you can even see in ancient Mesopotamian carvings in walls, you can see that they actually drew these giant beings with wings. The angels, they could change their size, they could change their forms, and they taught man forbidden knowledge, such as they taught man how to make weapons out of metal, such as the sword and bow and shield. They pretty much taught women how to make makeup, to beautify themselves by breaking up stones and making makeup. They taught men and women how to make jewelry and how to adorn themselves with gold. And they taught the knowledge of root cuttings, so the use of drug use to get high, all sorts of stuff. The mainstream scientists, they are trying to, they have a conundrum, because they say, like, how come they always say this, that our genetics is so advanced that something must have genetically modified humans. They want to always tell us that ancient aliens came here and genetically modified primitive apes to be gold miners. It just blows my mind that some of these truthers, they see all this stuff, they see all these elites doing the satanic rituals, but they still refuse to accept the biblical narrative that is truth, that cannot be denied, that you cannot deny that there was a worldwide flood. There's mountains of evidence. In the movie, I did see there was one part where they actually were sneaking in. Well, they were showing, first of all, the ball earth lie, the space ball earth lie. They showed that these fallen angels, these beings, they didn't look like really, like, they look kind of angelic, but they look kind of similar to like advanced beings that are like aliens. And then they said that these Watchers actually came down to help humanity. And they actually mentioned the leader of the Watchers, the fallen angels, Semyaza. Semyaza was the leader, and he had the idea to come down and do that. And he actually led a group about, I don't know how many angels fell with him at first, maybe 200, maybe 20, 22. But I heard that the introduction of Paramount Studios pictures, those stars, they represent the fallen angels falling onto that mountain long ago. After, I believe, a third of the angels followed, they started having children with the women. They took multiple wives, started having children, and the children were half angel, half human. And they kept growing, and they became like giants. And then there was the huge amounts of wars, and there was just like murder, rape, war all over the world. So God said, I'm going to take the most purest genetics and flood the world and start over, because he wanted to destroy the abominations that the fallen angels created. And before the flood happened, the fallen angels were bound, as God sent one of his most powerful angels to go capture and bind them for later judgment in chains. And I believe he bound them deep under the earth. And I suspect that underneath volcanoes is where they are. But this is just speculation, right? I know that the earth is a realm. I know that we're living in a flat enclosed container, we're living in a container created by God. And the outer space lie, it promotes an expanding infinite universe with other realms, planets, i.e. planets that we could go to with other advanced beings out there. And the movie kind of insinuates that, maybe God, the creator, is just a highly advanced being. That's what I kind of got a sense of. They sneak in billions of years into the age of the earth. They sneak in the gap theory. Like, there's a gap theory that some Christians believe that the earth is young, and some people believe that the creation story took the 6 days that God made the earth, that each was like maybe just metaphorical and one day represented millions of years, right? So they sneak in. They even show the evolution of man from monkey, from fish to lizard to monkey and to eventually man. And they kind of near the end here, they're showing Adam and Eve, and they kind of look like, to me, advanced alien beings to me. So I want to just point that out, call it out, and say that's bullshit. That's complete nonsense. Humanity was more advanced in the past, but scientists want us to believe that we were primitive in the past and we're constantly evolving now. It's the same satanic lie that Satan taught in the Garden of Eden, that man is evolving and can evolve into a higher state of being, into a godlike being. And there's only one God, Yehovah, through Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's all I want to point out. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you and your family.
Those who lived were left prisoners in these stony shells, marooned upon this barren land. We begged the Creator to take us home, but he was always silent.